The Babysitter's Club notebook was released in November 1987. That's the same month Boy Crazy Stacy was released. It's a very short book. It's 62 pages long, and over half of the pages are blank. Since the book is so short and empty, it feels like little effort was put into writing the book. It feels like a quick attempt to cash in on the popularity of the Babysitter's Club. The book has nothing to do with the Babysitter's Club. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the authors had never read any of the Babysitter's Club books before writing. The authors are Sonia Black and Pat Brigandy, the writing duo behind Fantastic Word Find Fun and Super Word Tricks. The book is a pretty basic guide about babysitting. It tells you what to do if you want to be a babysitter. The first section is getting started. To be a babysitter, you need to prepare. Learn how to babysit by taking a class or reading some books. I have to say, it is a terrible sign that the very first step in this babysitting guide is read somebody else's babysitting guide. You need to figure out when you'll babysit, how much you'll charge, then spread the word. Tell everyone you know that you're a babysitter. Make flyers, post them on bulletin boards, or place an ad in your neighborhood newsletter. I think it's adorable the book assumes your neighborhood has a newsletter. The next section is meeting the clients. There's a list of questions you can ask the parents. Ask about the kids, find out what your duties are, get all the emergency contact information, and figure out how to get home when the job is over. Obviously, phones don't exist. You can't just call for a ride home. Be nice when meeting the children. Put them at ease by asking questions about themselves. They're the same questions you just ask their parents, but pretend to care anyway. The next section is the Kid Kit, and that is as close as this book gets to directly referencing the Babysitter's Club. Although I noted they put the term Kid Kit in quotation marks, because that's obviously not a real term. The Kid Kit section is a bulleted list of items you can bring with you when you're babysitting, like toys or coloring books. There's a blank page so you can write your own list of items. The next section is a list of do's and don'ts, complete with a blank space so you can write your own instructions. Do arrive early, look presentable, and pay attention to the kids. Don't fall asleep, spank the kids, snoop through the client's personal belongings, or play the stereo too loudly. Now I'm disappointed that these ideas didn't find their way into a Babysitter's Club series book. They could have worked well in Jessie and the Bad Babysitter. Say the bad babysitter gets into a fight with the kids and spanks them. The next section is tips for babies. Make sure they don't fall asleep on their faces, or else they will die. Try not to make a mess when changing diapers, and prepare formula correctly. The next section is games you can play with infants and older kids. The older kids part is mostly a list of things not to do with older kids, like no games with sharp objects and no challenging kids to drink as much as they can. What babysitter is asking kids to run with scissors and jug a gallon of Coke? There's also a list of suggested games with blank space for you to write your own list. Yeah, that's a regular pattern throughout this book. Lots of blank spaces to write your own stuff. The next section is 6 knock-knock jokes. Next is a list of puppet shows you can put on, along with the Create a Story game. Next is a list of books that you can read to kids. Next is a list of basic recipes. They are grilled cheese sandwiches, which are baked in the oven, tuna fish sandwiches that are way too much effort. Tuna mixed with mayo, lemon juice, and sliced pickle? Kids would probably be fine with just tuna fish and bread. Last is apples and peanut butter. Next section is drinks. They're all made in a blender with ice cream. I bet the kids love those drinks. You can also stick a straw in an orange and call it a drink if you're feeling lazy. Of course, there's blank space to write down your own favorite snacks. Next, bedtime. Warn the kids about bedtime and make sure they prepare for it. You'll probably have trouble getting the kids to stay in their rooms. Check on them every 20 minutes to make sure they're okay, and do not wake them up by being too loud. When the kids are asleep, do nighttime activities like cleaning up or doing homework. Oh, fun! The book assumes you think TV is boring, so it suggests spicing up TV time with a guessing game. Guess if the show will have 5 car chases or 10 kisses. See if you can get it right. That sounds a lot like a drinking game without the drinking. Since you don't like TV, you'll want to read instead. There's a list of fun books to read. It was nice of them to include the Babysitters Club series on this list. Next, emergency situations. If there's a nightmare, calm the child down. Help injured children. Separate fighting siblings. And do not let anyone into the house without prior approval. What if it's a murderer who's trying to kill the children? It's better to be safe than sorry. And that's it for the book. Pages 30 to 62 are blank pages where you can write notes on the babysitting jobs you take. The last page has a column for keeping track of the hours you babysat and the money you earned. That's kind of useful, teaching kids basic accounting. Why didn't they have a section of the book dedicated to money issues? There's space to make a list of things you bought with your babysitting money, because of course you're going to spend all your money right away instead of saving it. So that's the Babysitters Club notebook. Not at all what I expected. I was expecting a collection of short stories taken from the Babysitters Club books. You know, one chapter is the Johansson sitting job from book 3, one is the Prezioso sitting job from book 4, and so on. The series has a lot of standalone babysitting chapters. You could easily throw 10 of them together as a collection, maybe add a new story that hasn't been published before, and that would be a decent enough companion book to the Babysitters Club series. There could have been a whole series of clip show style books like that. Christie's Best Babysitting Jobs, Dawn's Best Babysitting Jobs, and so on. Also, Claudia's Guide to Art, Stacy's Guide to New York City. There are a lot of spin-off books they could have made for the Babysitters Club series. Instead, we got this book. I thought it was kind of bad. The content is okay, it's just there's so little of it. I've seen recipes that are longer than this book. If all you want is a simple guide to babysitting, this will do fine. If you want something that is really going to teach babysitting, or if you want something that's related to the Babysitters Club series, you'll have to look somewhere else. I give the Babysitters Club notebook 1 screaming kid out of 10.